Alright, this will be a feedback slash critique for Hazard. You already know the drill, or you've already seen me before. I go by TK Shazam on the Discords. I'm just a nerd who likes Tekken and talking about it. I am by no means a professional player. There's not much else to say. I pretty much said what I need to say. Nothing in particular that you mentioned, just like kind of what went wrong in the match. I don't have a lot of Nina experience. I need to fight another Nina in SoCal. There was Gilgod, but I don't know if he still plays. I need to fight him more. But yeah, let's go into it. I feel like at the very least there are some awkward areas in how your offense is structured, and I wanted to talk about them. So let's get into it. Okay, so immediately it feels like a round start. I've watched I've watched the full set, and it feels like every time at round start you are pressing something, and I don't fully understand or agree why. Right? I don't see the vision. Right? Money Foams is not super aggressive at round start, and if they are, they will press fucking like the armor move or some other fast counter hit option from Nina's just not a character that you can really challenge comfortably as Paul, right? You have to have a really strong read on the options that they go for or really smart spacing. Round start, I don't think that's where you want to be either, because it also feels like you're missing out on opportunities. If your goal was to press a lot of buttons at round start and then Nina does something like not down forward one of the round starts, the Nina does her power crush, right? Her stupid heat engage power crush. It's very annoying, and but Paul can launch it, right? And if that's your goal, you're like, I'm gonna just keep pressing buttons until I see that they're willing to do the power crush, and then maybe I'll block for a little bit and punish them, right? Because Paul, thankfully, can launch Nina's power crush, which is huge. But you don't do that. You constantly have an aggressive round start for little to no gain. And often, especially as the sets go on, you get counter hit out of it or you just get challenged back. And it's Nina, so her faster options will just smother Paul, right? So, long story short, try and figure out what exactly you're trying to do at round start. If you're trying to bait out a specific response from the Nina, then I need to see you pump the brakes a little bit more, at least so you can get some of these launch punishes that you're missing out on either by mashing or something else, right? Like you even do like round start forward 1+4, and I'm not sure why. Why are you so, excuse me, antsy on jumping the gun? Why do you need to engage? Why do you need to constantly start something, right? Yeah, Tekken 8 is about aggression, etc., but like you're playing Paul, you can be smarter with it. Once you start mashing and they start pressing, that's when you, as Paul, even in Tekken 8, need to start looking for what and how they mash so that way you can do your defensive options, whether that's with punishment, block punishment, right? Or just whatever. But you can't just you are not gonna be like this super aggressor. I'm just gonna keep pressing buttons and you have to deal with it character. Paul's just not built like that. Maybe in season 2, but as of right now, he's not. Let's continue. Wall combo. How do you decide to handle the Oki? Nice jab. That was a really good jab, right? I really like the jab there, but I feel you're kind of lagging on recognizing that you got the jab, right? And as a result, like it doesn't matter because the Nina didn't press anything. They're like, oh, I got hit. I'm just gonna hold back, right? But you're +8, and a critical part of jabs is that if you don't have to utilize jabs in your gameplay, especially Paul's jab can be kind of awkward, but I like them. I think using a jab is critical to just fundamentals in general, not just Paul. You're +8, so if you get the jab connect, if it hits, you need to cash out on that frame advantage, at least a little bit, right? Until you have a better idea of what their defensive responses are like. So if you get a jab, I think you can go for more rewarding options than just QCF1, right? Go for hammer. They're not pressing anything. Continue to press your advantage. Go for hammer of the gods. Go for a low. Go for back four. Again, they're not challenging after your jab connects. They're just kind of backing off and be like, all right, I'm going to wait for my turn again, right? Push them to the wall. Use back four, use hammer, run up, throw, whatever else, but use that frame advantage. Try to get in the habit of at least being able to go, I recognize my jab connecting, time to cash out on the frames, right? You don't always want to, but you want to at least have the ability to go, jab connected, I'm +8, cash out, right? And then you'll figure out when you want to and when you do not want to cash out. This happens a lot. I feel like I don't know what you're pressing because I can't see the inputs here. This is just a stream, but you constantly eat like the last hit of a lot of Nina's strings, and you just gotta block, man. Like you just have to let them finish it. If they stop finishing it, if they stop at like the second hit, then okay, maybe you got something going on. But it feels like a lack of defensive homework done here, right? You got to start becoming familiar with Nina's knowledge check strings. Not all of them are knowledge checks, but she's a very string heavy character, and you want to become familiar with them. At least knowing when you can interrupt and with what. Because whatever you're doing right now doesn't seem to be working. This is a common theme throughout the set from game 1 to game 5, right? Try to develop that a little bit more. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so this I love. This whole sequence I love. I think your usage of wall standing 1-2 is really good, right? And not just wall standing 1-2, but deep dive, cancel, and the block, right? You're trying to bait something out, and then you see that they're not biting. Okay, fuck it, let's just do wall standing 1-2. You use the pressure very well. I like it so far. I think you need to incorporate a little bit more of just down forward 1, deep dive back, or sway back, and let it rock for a little bit. Especially once you start to see that they're pressing into your buns and challenging them. You do it once because you're like, let me back off a little bit. But I think you want to start developing a sense of the timing. It's like, okay, I've done a lot of sway and deep dive pressure. I think they're going to start challenging me, and let me just rock back a little bit and do like, just let the sway rock back, right? And then if you see them press something, 1+2, right? Or sidestep cancel into more safety, right? I know you know the options because you do it, but I need to see a little bit more of mixing through the deep dive and sway options, because I think that is what is vital to maximizing the sway and deep dive pressure from Paul. Challenged, unfortunate, and round start. How do we go? Yeah, see? Just block, right? Just block. Just let it backdash at most, but just block and let it see what happens, right? Maybe if you're going to go for just raw backsway and just to see what happens, I don't think that's good either. That's very rare for that to work out. Yeah, it can be evasive against jabs, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Right. Okay, you run in here, right? Okay, so... Okay, so right here, you run in, and I'm not sure why. Why are you running in? At the range you're at, what are you doing, like forward 2? Like, what's going on there, right? From here, you don't need to run in, just backdash, right? Backdash, and more importantly, you need to start utilizing the third dimension, the z-axis, whatever the fuck it's called. I need you to sidestep a lot more, right? And more importantly, I need you to sidestep with regards to positioning, right? Right here, right, where the wall is, you need to start doing sidestep left and start realigning so that the Nina's back is to the wall and putting yourself in a better advantageous position. Just running straight at the Nina's not going to do anything for you. They can do like a clippy side hit or something, and then all of a sudden your back overall is still to the wall, right? That's the issue here. You're in a poor position and you're trying to fight your way out when you don't need to, right? There are some situations where sure, I understand that you need to fight your way out. Most of the time, you don't need to fight your way out. You need to remember positioning and just start moving. That'll force the Nina to either realize what's going on and move with you, or try to chase you down with a button, which you can hopefully ideally punish. It can be kind of tough because Nina has back 2-2, and I don't understand why that shit is homing, but it is. But from like right here, where does it connect? Right here at this distance, if you backdash, or if you, well, you can't backdash because I think the wall is right behind you. I'm pretty sure the angle looks a bit off, but I'm pretty sure the wall is right there. But if you start sidestepping, the second or third hit of back 2-2 or whatever that string is might hit you, but the initial homing portion, the back 2, is not. Like, you're relatively safe. So sidestep, use movement. You have a tool to reposition for free, reposition yourself and put yourself in a better spot so that the Nina's back is to the wall. Is that sweep the floor? Whatever it is, that shit needs a clean. That shit's so annoying. I hear it looks like you did try to sidestep. Unfortunately, she used that weird ass jumping tracking move. I would save a replay and see if that's actually steppable. I'm not sure. Nice down forward 2 call out. I think this is the very funny sequence, so I like this part. Get knowledge checked, Lamau, get fucked. Get knowledge checked again, Lamau, get fucked. So I like the sequence you got going on here. This whole sequence is great. But just practice and see if you could have gotten more damage, like if you could have gotten QCB 3-2-1 into the wall splat, into a delayed death fist. You're looping it, which is good, but I think you could have gotten more damage in a faster amount. So maybe clean up that wall combo a little bit, because again, okay, so I don't have an issue with this part, right? So you do this, yeah, stays on the ground, catch them, tech roll. This is fine. Right here, right, when you go for it again, I think you're being too greedy. I think you need to maximize your damage and then make them guess on the last mix-up, because this is not guaranteed. If Money Foams was more familiar with the matchup and had practiced the holding back to get up and called you out that you're going to charge it, maybe he does know the tech. I'm not going to assume too much here, or try. I'm going to try to not assume too much. Double negatives? But it doesn't seem like it, right? He's just holding back, and then he's not challenging with 10 frames. But you and I both know that it's not guaranteed, right? And maybe you knew that Money Foams is not familiar enough with this situation, so you're taking advantage of it. That's fine, but I still think overall you want to get the guaranteed damage first, and then, you know, go for the Oki or the setups or whatever else. It works out here. That's whatever. I don't think it's like the worst thing. It just feels like it's a bad habit. Like, against stronger players more familiar with the matchup, you are more than likely going to get mashed out of it, and you're risking a lot when you have guaranteed damage on the table and you just lose out on it, right? I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity. That's what I'm talking about, right? So if you had just waited and just blocked, right, you would have launched. Of course, there's no guarantee that the Nina will ever press the Power Crush at round start, except when we look at all the round starts you've been doing, it's constantly with button into button into button, right? Like, I don't think there's been a round where you do not press a button. So, as a Nina player, they're more than likely to go, well, if they're going to press a button around start, I think my 7-frame armor will kick in before, and I should be fine, right? And you want that to happen because you can launch it, that you get a guaranteed launch. That's huge in this matchup. It's not enough to really put it in Paul's favor because Nina's just cracked, but that's a whole different story. You're playing Paul, you take what you can get, right? But you don't, well, if it comes up again, keep talking about it. Okay, you try to go for the deep dive stuff. Doesn't fully work out, that's okay. Again, you're challenging the strings here, and it doesn't feel like you're really knowing when and where to challenge. So you gotta start brushing up on that homework. Look at a punish guide, understand what your options are before you start challenging all over the place, and just be comfortable. Another situation. Your back is still to the wall. instead of sidestepping, you just kind of backing off. The Nina used the down forward one, which I also have issues with. So I understand that sidestep right wasn't an option, but I think earlier on, right before you commit to deep dive. So right here, you see, because Money Foams is already doing it. Money Foams is stepping slightly to the left to try and realign themselves and force you in a worse position at the wall. You needed to either step with Money Foams or step in the opposite direction and just not give Money Foams all this advantage by having your back against the wall. You try to fight your way out, which is also a somewhat acceptable solution, but it doesn't work out, and then you just get pressed back into the wall, right? Like, look at where you're at now. And you try to Death Fist as another Hail Mary call out, and they're not able to fully capitalize on the wall hit, and here you kind of salvage it, which is fine. But it's just constantly, you're in bad position after bad position when you don't have to be, right? That's the crux of the issue here. Nice. Okay, so I kind of see like the delayed backsway option here, sure, but I still think like just block and punish, block and then reposition yourself into a better spot. Don't just press around start every single time now. Alright, while standing 1-2 pressure again. So this is what I want to talk about, right? It feels like every now and again there will be a gap and you're just like, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to throw out a button. And you'll throw out a mid. Money Foam should have launched you for that, but you do this a lot. It doesn't always have to be Death Fist, but you'll do like forward 4, right? Or you'll do Death Fist a lot, right? But you also do forward 4 a lot. And I just don't understand it. What exactly has Money Foams done at all that makes you think I should use like a stepping move or I should do a mid? I just don't think you've done enough to incentivize them to duck. I haven't seen a single Demo Man throughout the set, and I understand the risk associated with Demo Man, so if you don't want to use Demo Man, that's fine. I still haven't seen enough lows and throws to warrant Money Foams to go, oh, I should start ducking, right? The only time I think I saw deep dive was like maybe once out of a sway transition, and then once when your back was to the wall, and you're like, I want to close the distance, right? You just gotta start being very liberal with Paul's lows, right? Just start slamming them out, tossing them out, understanding when and where to place them. So yeah, they're 20-ish, 20 plus frames. That doesn't matter because they're homing, right? They're near homing. They do a lot of good damage. And sooner or later, they will make an opponent go, damn, I want to duck because this low is annoying as crap, right? It's not going to happen right away, but if they don't duck, if they just keep stand blocking, that's also fine. That's also acceptable. You are basically getting a button that reads, hey, get free 18 damage whenever you want because Money Foams refuses to duck, right? Or insert player here refuses to duck. And you need to be taking more advantage of that. Just simply letting the player stand block for free and not do anything. It's just like, brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, to make a long story short, I don't think your frequency of mids is justified, right? I think that you need to do more to condition Money Foams to start ducking, right? Let's keep going. And whether that's with lows or throws, I'll leave that up to you. Sometimes you want throws, sometimes you want lows. I'm a big fan of just using a little bit of everything in the move list, of the good moves. Don't use everything in the move list. I don't give a shit about everything in the move list. I'm not going to use down forward 4 or down forward 3-4. I don't give a shit about that move. Just straight up, right? I will, however, use all of his throws because they're really good, right? And you should too. And I will use most, if not all, of Paul's lows. They're neat. Again with the mid, and you try to go for a big Hail Mary low. I don't use that low. Never mind. I take back what I said. I don't use that low. I don't care. I don't care what Doom Dash. Who's the guy that loves that move? I don't give a shit about that low at all. I refuse. Bro. Okay. So from here, Money Foams just kind of snowballs the momentum and closes out the round. There's not really much else to say. Nice one coming, I swear. You try to get out of the wall, that's fine, right? Yeah, it's kind of just like one big counter hit sequence into finishing off. Hopefully I pointed out some of yours. Let's actually okay. Let's how much time do I spend on this? 20 minutes. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. Let's continue. Okay, so here you back off a little bit, and Money Phones does as well. That's good. But this is what I'm talking about again with like they've challenged. You're on game 3. They have more often than not challenged you on sway, and you need to keep that in your mind of like, okay, I think they're gonna start challenging me. Let me do delayed timing sway option or just sidestep block, right? You can here and then here. This is where I feel like the lack of matchup knowledge is coming in. Is like you could punish that harder. I'm pretty sure. I want to say it's at least -12, but double check. Let me know, or just figure out for yourself. Right? I like the pressure of the heat dash cancel with TCB 3-2. Again, okay, so why back off? You just back off, and then what happens, right? You get clipped with the side step. That's unfortunate. It is what it is, right? But this is what I'm talking about. As the Nina approaches, where's your QCB4? Where's your QCF3? Where's down 1? Where's standing 3? Where's the space control that I should be seeing from Paul, right? As you begin with Paul, the moment you're in this range, right? Okay. Once you're here, it's a game of red light, green light, right? Again, red light, opponent's not pressing anything. They're just kind of backing off. Don't press anything. Green light, they start approaching you. Space control, down, forward 2, whatever, right? Don't let your opponent get in for free. Consider how you want to utilize your keep out tools. You have quite a few of them. Are they amazing? Whatever. But you have a good variety that you can use to get the job done, right? So experiment with your keep out. Combo, and pretty sure that looks punishable. I don't know. Double check. Oh, are you calling out lows with forward 4? Is that why you're seeing a lot of forward 4? I mean, that's like not bad. That's fine. Again, see what I'm talking about, right? Like, you start to see a pattern, right? Money Foams is pretty comfortable challenging you on the deep dive and sway pressure, which means you need to look at what beats immediate mashing, right? So delay, sway plus 1+2, sidestep block, etc., etc., etc. You have quite a few options. There's that. Back to again. Look. I see a little bit of the space control here, and again, he's just challenging you. And again, that you're not adjusting your sway and deep dive pressure. It feels like you're kind of in a comfort zone with how you apply sway and deep dive, and then you're not mixing it up enough, right? Constantly change it up. Make sure your opponent cannot just challenge it for free. They want to always be second guessing it, right? Even if they successfully challenge it, that doesn't mean it should they should be constantly going, fuck, I don't know if this is the right option, but I'm just going to mash this here and hope it works out, right? To just not, what's the word? To not mix it up a bit more than where you're at right now is going to hurt you in the long run. Okay. Let's finish this round and then no punish. That's a little bit of a punish, right? Hail Mary low, it works out because Money Foams is just not too familiar with it. Again, this is what we're talking about, an overarching theme here of like you are too gung-ho to try and keep your momentum, right? Run up. How often have you seen someone just spring kick on you like that, right? Try to change up your timing a little bit more, right? Run up, attack, and then the next interaction, run up and then delay your attack. See how they respond. See what their defensive responses are. Just constantly trying to run up and constantly trying to press your game, push your game plan through is not going to work out. Nice bit of a Hail Mary there with the wall standing too. I'm sure it worked out. Oh, this one gets really long. I will cut it off here. I feel like I've given enough information to kind of hopefully illustrate some of the issues that I'm seeing and things to be working on, right? Neutral, punishment slash matchup knowledge, combo slash Oki, personal opinion stuff. Neutral. I talked a little bit about it. I don't think your neutral's bad. I think certain aspects of it need a little bit more work. How often you're mixing up your timing, how often you're mixing up the options you are using from stuff like sway and deep dive need to be a lot more mixed up than they are now. You cycle through the options, but the timing feels largely the same. The options you use feel largely the same, and Money Foams is able to kind of capitalize in critical areas that, like, okay, he did a sway transition, he's going to press a button, I'll just use a fast move to counter hit him out of that. There's never really a delay. There's never really like a very different option to help counteract how Money Foams is responding to you, stuff like that. Neutral, use more throws and lows, right? If you use a bunch of mids, you can be the mid dispenser, sure, but there's got to be a reason why your opponent should be eating the mids in the first place, right? There's got to be a reason why they should even consider it. Like, why am I ducking? Why would I duck against Paul? You got to remind them. And if they don't duck, that's fine, because you have a bunch of lows that again say like, hey boss, get free 18 damage, and you want to utilize them as much as you can, right? Anything else in neutral? I think your wall standing 1-2 approach options are good. I feel like you don't overcommit too much. You're not using anything too glaring. It just feels like it's not necessarily your approach and your offense that needs to be working on. I think you just want to experiment and be a bit more creative on your defense, right? I'm watching this Nina approach for free. I'm watching this Nina get to keep wall pressure for free. And so you want to up your stage awareness a little bit more. You want to you experiment more with keep out, right? Experiment more with space control and keep out, because I feel like those are kind of glaring areas where I'm like, yeah, you're not doing enough to mix it up here, and the stagnation of it gets you killed in the long run. Punishment slash matchup knowledge, talked a little bit about these aspects, but I feel like you're not comfortable with punishing Nina, and that's getting you killed. You constantly press into strings, you bait out responses, but then don't efficiently or fully punish them as hard as you could, which leaves damage on the table, which makes your life more difficult as Paul, right? Stuff like that. Um, Other aspects of matchup knowledge. Nothing that really comes to mind. That's whatever. Combos slash Oki. Combos were fine. I actually really liked your combo. I might steal that the instant tornado combo you got going on. That was pretty good. But Oki, I again, like, you are over eager on applying Oki. It's the same idea of you need to experiment a little bit more, and you need to start calling out your opponent when they do punishable shit like spring kick, right? Run up and just hold back. Just chill out for a little bit, and then make it seem that, like, oh, you press something, die, right? Like, you can do a little bit more there, experimenting with the Oki. Personal opinion and stuff. More throws. I need to see more throws. More throws. There are constantly points throughout this match where where's the stage? Yeah, first try. Right here, 2+4 back. I need to see 2+4 back here, right? Or up forward 1+2 if you think they're gonna break, if they're gonna mash 2, right? Which is possible because Nina has a lot of like 2 strings that she'll mash out, which is fine. But like I need to see 2+4 back here. I need to see up forward 1+2, right? I need to see more throws. You can control the positioning so well. A 2+4 back here immediately slams them into the wall, and all of a sudden Nina's back is to the wall, and you're free. You're free to put on your wall pressure. Up forward 2 will give you some breathing room to work with, right? Even something like back 1+4 will put them to the wall. You gotta kind of gotta run up and then continue pressure, but that's fine because your back is not to the wall, right? I feel like Stage awareness and experimenting with how Paul can control that is lacking in the gameplay a little bit, right? Stage awareness and positioning is not just achieved through movement. It most of the time is, right, and that's understandable. But Paul has so many throws that have a good variety of pushing people away, pushing them towards a specific position. You can really control how things are going to go. And I can understand some hesitation because of how linear throws are, except one, Paul has a homing command grab, right? And that's pretty good. And then two, Money Foams has not really shown as much lateral movement, right? As that would make me think, oh yeah, yeah, hold off on the throws or hold off on any of this shit, right? They're just not stepping. They'll step occasionally when they have Oki and they try to reposition a little bit, but they're not stepping anywhere near to make me think they're a threat that needs to stop stepping, right? And again, if they start stepping, you have a homing command grab. It's pretty good. Even if they break it and they break it consistently, you want to make them constantly aware of it, especially once you can start messing with timings and getting those counter hit throws off. Those are pretty good. More lows I talked about. More pressure overall. I feel like the mids you're using are not bad, but they're not really enabling a lot of pressure. Try to use more hammer. Try to use more down forward four. Right. Even if you already have and you don't like down forward four, that's fine. I think you need to use hammer. You need to force the Nina into a situation where you have somewhat advantage. I think Nina has a full crouch game. I forget, but either way, you just need to use more scary mids that leave yourself with more breathing room to work with. Down forward four, at least you can still use movement and the occasional mash. Forward one plus two, you're plus, right? The world is your oyster. Do what you want, to a degree. Other aspects that I think can work on. Talked about throws, talked about mids, talked about the lows. Use more QCF3, use more sidestep 3. I'm a big fan, but if you're not, then use back 4, whatever, right? Just do something. I don't think you use enough lows for a variety of any of them, really. That's all I can think of at this moment of my stream of consciousness, and I will leave it from here. Right. I hope this helps. If it helps, I'm happy. If it did not, you know where I'm at. Feel free to just let me know. Like, hey, I had questions about this, or this did not make sense to me, or Shazam, what the fuck are you talking about here? Right. Let me know. All right, man. Have a good one.